Here we are. I'm Chris, the aforementioned host and singer of that intro. I'm joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Debbie, who will have to get involved with a new intro maybe once Loki comes around. Anyway,
Oh boy.
we have a great panel, as always. We got Cam with us from Cam and Focus. If you don't know Cam of Cam and Focus, he has his literally own playlist on our YouTube channel. Go to the one called Cam and Focus, and you're gonna find all kinds of exactly. Diving into your favorite and maybe not so favorite bits of film. And he's got a wonderful perspective. And as we all know from Star Wars, a point of view can be the most important thing. We also have David down in that corner over there. He's been with us before, and he is the leader of the Literary Legion for Geek News Now. If you need to find any links, by the way, to anything, they're going to be in that wonderful description of the video below. I don't want to overlook our special guest tonight, friend of the show, right below me, Steven Thunder Pop.
I am here.
Thunder Pop. You might not get that reference from me going, Thunder Pop. I was on his show last night where we talked a lot about Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff. Debbie was there in the comments. But his intro song is, dare I say it, possibly better than the one that I've made. I dare say, Thunder Pop. It's good. You should check it out.
It's very catchy.
And we're glad to have him here today. And without any further ado, let's talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This most recent episode dove right into it. They went from the previous episode just right into this one. And actually, that's kind of what they used as a before the introduction scene. Not that these things work in the typical sitcom fashion or the way that we're used to things, but they went right from the last episode into this one, and we had a showdown. What did you guys think about that showdown between the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, and John Walker?
I thought it was great. It was very reminiscent of Civil War. The fight between Tony and Bucky and Captain America. Sorry, brain fart. Even the music was from Civil War also. So it was just like a mirror comparison to the two. And it was a great fight scene too. So
Cam, what did you think about the that opening fight scene and maybe what came out of it? What did you think about that?
Well, first of all, I like that the episode opened up with John Walker kind of like in turmoil. He was very emotional over what just happened. So it gave the fight scene that much more weight. And as far as the fight itself, I think that some of the editing was just a little bit too fast for me. It was kind of hard at times to see exactly what was going on. But I mean, that's my one gripe about it. It was just a great fight. The raw emotion that John Walker brought out, especially when he was screaming in Bucky's face, "Why are you making me do this?" I mean, it was just so good.
David, your thoughts? That opening fight scene.
Loved it. I like what Cam said about John being in turmoil, and honestly, to take it a step further than that, if you watched that fight scene when he was going from "I'm John Walker and I shouldn't have done what I just done" to "I'm Captain America and I can just do whatever the crap I want to," they always focused on the shield, and the shield was always had that blood still on it. It was still stained with the blood of the guy, and that was always the transition. You could always tell they're focusing on the Shield. He's in a bad guy mode now.
There was a lot of focus on the blood. Yes, on the Shield, obviously that's been a focus since the very beginning, but now it's been tainted. Now it's been used for something that a shield is not meant to be used for. A shield is meant to defend. He just used it to murder someone. And yes, Steve Rogers killed people, but his ultimate goal was defending people. And I think that also rises to something I mentioned to Steven last night when we were talking about this. We've got John Walker, who keeps saying, I am Captain America. I'm Captain America. Do you know who I am? I'm Captain America. And he's actually this, the perfect soldier, the thing that we were originally told. But the serum is not the same now. We've got a new serum. It's different. It's not going to be as obvious because back when we had Steve, he was a scrawny little kid, but he was a good man, and it brought out the best in him. The new serum is not like that. You don't get physical changes so much. But at least obvious, easy to tell physical changes. Like Red Skull became freaking Red Skull. He was not Red Skull before he took the serum. No one who takes the new serum, even if they were to be as evil as Red Skull, would look like that. No one's going to look like that. So we've got this new Cap, new serum, and we've got the Defenders, or the people that believe or knew the old Cap. And that's kind of the core of this whole part of the big theme of the show is, what does it mean to be Captain America? What does the shield mean? What does it mean to carry the shield? And I think what they're coming through, and I'll be excited to see this in the last episode, maybe, but who knows? I think a lot of the things that they're building towards, though, is that it's not just about trying to live up to whatever you think Captain America is supposed to be. Because Steve Rogers he never said, I'm Captain America. He just showed up and did what he did. He was creating the mantle of Captain America. It was never something that he was living up to because he was the one making it. And then we've got people trying to live up to that, or their idea of it. And then that's been what kind of this whole thing is about. Bucky being, what would it mean? What would it mean if I took up the shield? Sam, what would it mean if I took up the shield? If I was Captain America? And I think that's where we're going to see in this last episode them branch out into their own heroes. You don't need to be Captain America, because you are who you are. Maybe you were inspired by Captain America, but you're going to be your own hero. So we're going to get White Wolf. We're going to get, I don't know what they're going to do with Falcon, but I know they're already setting up Falcon 2.0 with Torres. So what do you think about that? I would like to get your points of view on, do you think they're setting up these heroes to be their own heroes and not just Captain America? Debbie, what do you... Actually, Steven, I never gave you even a chance to talk first off. So,
no, thank you. Thanks for having me back. I'm excited to be here. So, I think that you're onto something. I think this could be, setting on kind of this could be the Breakfast Club of the MCU at the end of this episode, where everybody, class is over or D Hall is over on Saturday. It's a good 80s reference here. Which I'm good at, but they'll have early 90s, 80s references. But yeah, what's going to happen is they're all going to kind of go off on their own, in their new stage of their lives, a new chapter of their lives, and new lives, new branding, new names and new future for these characters. So yeah, White Wolf. I like where we went yesterday, where we came up with Eagle for Sam Wilson. Why not? He's Falcon. It makes sense to transition to Eagle. It's patriotic. And which of the characters from the comic books? I think there's even some teases for way down the road as well.
Well, they've definitely set up some teases, and I'm excited to talk to Debbie about some of the Thunderbolt things on that level. But definitely talking about that opening fight, something that happened during that opening fight was Sam had his wings ripped off.
Yeah.
That's a metaphor. That is a big thing. And then what happened? He left his broken wings with Torres, who in the comics becomes a new Falcon, and he walks away with the shield. That's setting a very, it's not obvious unless you kind of say it like I just did, and then, oh, these are the pieces being put into place. And you also see the side of Bucky. That's why I was saying yesterday when we were talking, it's a lot about almost the first 3 episodes, even this one too, almost, and the first 3 or 4 are setting up like these characters. So you get to know them better. You get to understand their personalities even better. Like, because we kind of got them going in. They fully gave us what they're going, like, here's their characters, here's what they're going through, here's what they're struggling with. And now we are at the climactic point where it's all coming together. Yeah. And speaking of that, I would like to hear what you guys thought about the Zemo resolution, as it were. And I'm going to go right to Debbie on this one.
Well, we all know I love Zemo. So I think Zemo fully expected Bucky to kill him. And he had in his mind accepted that fact. I mean, when Bucky's pointing the gun at him, he's like, yeah, go ahead. You know, I'm accepting it. I expect it, but you know, Bucky doesn't, and he drops the bullets, kind of letting him know, I am no longer Winter Soldier. I am not that person anymore. And of course, then the AO and the Wakandian guards come in and take Zemo to the raft, which I think we're going to see Thunderbolt Ross. I really, really, really do.
Yep. We mentioned that last night. And the raft, that's where they're taking him. We'll take him to the raft. Wait, why? I guess that's part of them trying to be a part of this Sokovian Accords, and that's where we take international criminals or whatever. So we got to take it. Why wasn't he there in the first place?
Huh. I don't know. I never thought about that, to be honest with you.
No one ever does. I'm constantly thinking about stuff like that. And also how everyone's like, Zemo's so nice. And I'm like, that is him. You're a kid taking Turkish delight and thinking it's the bee's knees. And if you thought that that was cool, that I said bee's knees, that should show you just how out of line you are, taking Turkish delight from this clearly criminal character. And everyone's like, well, he danced slightly in a... No. And you, Debbie, even today said, he was ready to get shot. He was ready to get shot by Black Panther in Captain America Civil War. He's been ready to get shot for his beliefs the entire time. That doesn't necessarily make you a good person. It doesn't excuse what you did to make people want to execute you. It says more about the people that are willing to not kill him than it does about him being willing to die.
And he even crossed his name out in Bucky's book. Come on. What a sweetheart.
Hashtag Zemo did nothing wrong.
I
don't get the world today. I've never really got it at any point anyway. So I don't know. David, throw something at me.
Well, with the Zemo transition, I honestly think Debbie kind of said it all. You had the raft. You had that kind of, to me, when the Wakandian guard showed up and they said, okay, we're not taking him to Wakanda, we're taking him to the raft. That, because I was sitting there thinking, okay, so the Sokovia Accords apply to everybody except for people from Wakanda, because they can just show up and take care of things, and it's like, why do they get special privilege? But the fact that they're taking him to the raft, that to me says hey,
They are playing by the rules.
they're playing by the rules. They were probably sent there, and we may get Thunderbolt not as he's watching the raft. We may get Thunderbolt more as he's the one that sent the Wakandans to go find Zemo because he knew that they could do it.
Well, I don't think anyone sends the Wakandans.
No.
He runs the raft. I mean, that's his.
He
baby.
runs the raft, though. Yeah, he's the. Well, think about that's Steven. I mean, were we not talking about this? Think about Suicide Squad. I know it's DC. It's MCU Mondays. How dare I bring up DC? And well, look, you got the Suicide Squad. Who runs that? The
DC
warden
who?
of the prison.
DC what? What is that?
Exactly.
Huh?
You've got the warden of the prison running the Suicide Squad. So you have Thunderbolt Ross,
Yep.
the warden of the raft, running their own. We can't call it. Obviously, they can't call it the Suicide Squad, but the Thunderbolts. Yeah, that's Anyway, but like, yes, it's the same kind of idea. Obviously, way better set up.
Is James Gunn,
cinematic
is
way.
James Gunn going to direct the Thunderbolts series? He's part of the. He's in the MCU already.
It's up in the air. I don't know. I don't think the Thunderbolts has been like confirmed as a thing yet, but it
hasn't.
certainly is something that they're setting up.
Yeah, if not the Thunderbolts, then definitely the Dark Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Go with me more on that, Cam. Tell me more about these Dark Avengers.
Well, I'll be honest. I haven't read as much into them as I have into other material. To be honest, I probably couldn't even name one Dark Avenger. I just know of their existence.
But that's something that's related to what you're seeing now. Like, you've heard of these Dark Avengers and you're thinking maybe this is a way to. And I think the Thunderbolts is definitely a way to move into that, and Young Avengers as well as Dark Avengers, every kind of Avengers but the original Avengers, which we cannot have anymore because Iron Man is dead. And
Right.
And I would suspect we're going to be seeing some nonsense with that when the Multiverse of Madness comes around. But
Yeah.
for now,
Well, there's a lot of ways to bring in Iron Man, Tony Stark nonsense if they want to. I mean, the whole AI uploaded to a clone is another direction they could go, but that would be way down the road if they do that.
well, I think that was actually even part of the. Well, we'll have to get into another subject here, but I'm excited to get into it. I want to hear people's thoughts on it. But when Lady Hydra came in and was talking to John Walker, state secret, the shield doesn't actually belong to the state.
Mm-hmm.
That's because it belonged to the Starks. My father made that shield.
Yeah.
Is that what they were saying there, do you think? And also, yes, that's Lady Hydra. Like that's her name in the comics. Like, that's who this character is. What are we thinking? How did you feel about that interaction? I thought it was great.
Damn, Hydra.
I really liked, by the way, John Walker getting pissed at that committee. Getting pissed. Yeah. You made me, and then you don't want me to be what you made me to be, and you don't want to admit that I am what I am, and you don't. And so then it sets her up perfectly to come in and be like, those suits and ties, they've got the cameras, the public. Truth be told, they would have had you do exactly what you did and more. You should have taken out all of them. What did you guys think about Lady Hydra's intro?
Well,
Debbie?
first of all, Elizabeth Shue was out for that role. She was too close to home, even though she would have been very good at it.
Well, very big shoe.
I'm kind of wondering if she might be a combination of Madam Hydra and the power broker, because she seemed to know quite a bit of what was going on in it. I forget what episode it is. Well, the power broker episode. And on that wall, it says the power broker is always watching.
They also showed Sharon Carter. Are we sure that she's not and they've showed her talking to people. We don't know who she's talking to. As for sharing, she was in this episode.
I think she was talking to George Backtrock on the phone, and I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if it was actually like laid out for us, but I'm pretty sure she implied that she's the one who sent Batroc to capture that American soldier in the first episode. Now, as to why she did that, I couldn't tell you, but I'm pretty sure that that's what the implication was.
Men, we don't know what we did.
I'm with Cam. She did set that up in the first episode, but I don't think she's the power broker. She might be working for the power broker. She might be working both sides. She might even still be working for the government and just made that cover story up. So it'll be interesting to see which way that's going to go.
And it is also important to realize again that Sam and Bucky were gone, for this period of time, and they have just come back. They were both snapped out of existence, and now they've just come back. So they're both kind of also still not just recovering from everything else, but also that time gap. And that's something that this show has tried to make an actual plot point of that we haven't really seen in anything else since Endgame. We had Spider-Man where they used it as kind of a joke, but WandaVision was the first one to really kind of be like, this messed stuff up. And just because you save the world doesn't mean everything's just great. There's a lot of and when there's a lot of conflict and there's a lot of confusion, there are people that take advantage. And we had those people came into play, Power Broker and Flags, all those kind of things, when the 5 years where everything was out of, and now people are back and there's more confusion, more conflict. It just creates more of an environment for them to take advantage of that type of thing. What did we think about the boat fixing scene? I thought it was amazing.
I honestly thought it was great too. I thought it showed a lot of therapy between Sam and Bucky. And Bucky, the relationship between him and Sam grew, but also I think him being able to work and kind of get his mind off of his nightmares and what's been going on in his past life. I think it was very therapeutic for him, and he was able to work through it. My son Luke thought that was he hated this episode because of the boat scene. He said that was just boring. I didn't like it at all. There was nothing happening.
Just wait, son.
There was a lot happening.
One day you'll grow up and you realize nothing happening might be the best thing that you could wish for.
He's gonna be like, 25 years old. He'll think back. It's like, you know what? Dad was right about that boat scene.
Conflict, and that was them coming together, and that was them healing in their own way, working together for a common purpose, which didn't have anything to do with beating the crap out of people. And one of my favorite parts of that scene is right at the beginning when Bucky runs up to help with the valve that's spewing something, and he takes the wrench and he's like, now like this, and he uses the wrench, and Sam goes, why didn't you use the metal arm? And Bucky's like, I didn't think of it, I'm right-handed. And that's huge. That's huge. It's funny, yes, on this, but it's also, it's like, wouldn't you go for your strongest asset? He doesn't think of his that's not the strongest part of him is not his metal arm, it's him.
Well, and two, something you got to look at too is that metal arm is really what identified him as the Winter Soldier. People knew the Winter Soldier because he had that metal arm, and him not using it is him taking that step away from, I'm no longer the Winter Soldier. I am not that person anymore. I am I'm Bucky Barnes, and I'm going to do this by myself.
And I thought it was pretty significant that he slept on Sam's couch and he looked like he was pretty peaceful. No nightmares. He didn't wake up in a cold sweat. I mean, he woke up smiling. So I thought that was pretty significant for him.
Yeah, definitely. It was nice to see the characters take some time out for a little bit of levity. And I mean, the boat scene was kind of a huge tone shift, for the show, because that right there is what kind of felt like a buddy cop movie. Just a montage of these two guys just fixing something to some jazzy 80s 90s music. I thought that was nice. It wasn't I didn't think that it was boring. I didn't think that when are we going to get to the action or anything like that. I enjoyed seeing these characters being those characters, and that's something I feel like this show has done very well. It got us to really get into the minds and the lives of these two kind of I guess lesser appreciated characters from the MCU, especially Falcon.
Well, and it also proves they're people, they're human. They're not only the Avengers and superheroes, they're people also. And I think a lot of people forget that, I thought that, they're all working with the community. The community comes together to help them fix the boat up. I mean, it just shows the human side of it, which we hardly ever get to see, in the superhero movies. So I thought that was really important for character growth also. So
I'd agree with that. And I think if you see how Sam came to call on the community, he talks to Isaiah, and that's something we're going to have to talk about in a minute. And we have Isaiah, who's been through what he's been through. And he says, no self-respecting black man would ever wear that shield. Does everyone's opinion have to be the same? No. And Sam doesn't see things the way. Now, has Sam been through the same things that man has? No. But he's been through different things. And he has that idealism, that belief in humanity that Steve had, that belief, I'll defend all day, I'll do the right thing all day. Because why would you jump on that grenade if it would kill you? Why? Because I believe that no matter their flaws, people are worth fighting for. And yes, understandably, Isaiah doesn't feel that way, but it's that big of a thing that Sam's gonna maybe feel differently. But after that exact scene, he goes home. He says, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go home, focus on my family. And then what does he do? He says, I'm gonna reach out to my family. And that is a point in him of itself. People are always like, oh, Captain America, what's Captain America gonna do for us? What can we do for ourselves? What can we do for each other? He reaches out to his community, and guess what? They're there. And sometimes it is as simple as that. Reaching out to your community, being a part of your community. Before we go any further, and I know how rude that is for me to make a long speech and then play. But Steven, I think, has to leave us soon. So with that in mind, I'm going to throw up the Shang-Chi trailer, and we can watch that and maybe talk about it for a couple minutes. And then once he has to go, we'll get back into the discussion for however much longer. Does that sound amenable to?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's check it out.
I haven't even seen it yet, so I'm excited.
Me neither.
I guess that's the point of reacting to it.
I say that, but also, I've done a lot of different reactions. Let's not wax intellectual on it. Why don't I just put it up? Bah-her. Oh God, no. And here we go.
I gave you 10 years to live your life. Now you see me rise. And where did that get you? You walked in my shadow. I trained you. So the most dangerous people in the world couldn't kill you. Son, it's time for you to take your place by my side. You better watch out, 'cause it's my time. That's not going to happen. It's a new era, yes, I come alive. You woke up the dragon. You can't outrun. I run from who you really are.
Who are you?
Oh, God.
Hold on, everybody! We make a good team.
All right, Ninja Assassin comes to the MCU.
I was gonna say Kung Fu. There's a lot of appropriately. Oh man, they were when they went to that. They cut to the somewhere in the woods in that sort of fantastical. I was like, oh, that's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon level stuff right there. And then I was like, no, should I say that? Yeah, you really should. What'd you guys? Man, as pissed as I am that they faked me out with the Iron Man 3 Mandarin, I'm very excited for the real thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if nothing else, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a fun, beat 'em up kind of movie. That the action looks like it's very well filmed.
And I'd be, as well as they do action in the MCU and everything like that, which they do very well. I don't think they have a necessarily kung fu as far as that's, we've got the amazing action sequences in like Captain America and the Winter Soldier when they're doing that knife fight and stuff like that. Like that's really well choreographed stuff, but it's not necessarily traditional kung fu movies.
Right.
And that is kind of what this looks like, and that looks pretty cool. What do you think, Steven?
Steven, you're on mute.
Back.
There you are.
There you go.
My audio's been kind of coming in and out, so I was.
You're
Now
muted
it's
again.
I don't know why.
Oh,
I don't know what's happening. But we can't hear Steven right now.
It's
Is it doing it automatically?
I was gonna say it looks like he's automatically muting.
think it might have something to do with also possibly lagging out of time. I'm not sure.
Damn it, Mephisto.
Yeah.
My son is downstairs streaming Netflix to watch PJ Masks. That could be what's slowing
Children.
things down.
No,
Yes.
I've always blamed the younger generation.
Blame the kids.
Nice going.
This is never happened. I'm back, hopefully for not long enough to tell you what I think about that wonderful trailer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go.
Let's say it real fast before I get muted again. Sim Lu, I've been a big fan of him for about 4 years. I've watched his show Kim's Convenience with Paul Sung Lee. He's a huge TV star in Canada as a result of that series. There's a lot more as a fan of that show. Okay, it was just canceled, which is really unfortunate. Just muting and unmuting is really unfortunate too. But anyway, there's a lot more of his character from Kim. There's a lot more of his character from Kim's Convenience in this movie trailer than I was expecting. That was a surprise to me. That's not a bad thing. It's an entertaining character. I found it interesting that they worked into this story. Oh gosh, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. I will be editing that into something workable. Because I liked what he was saying about that trailer, and I wish that we could have had it go perfectly, but if wishes were fishes, we'd all have sushi right now.
By the way, some of the best martial arts I've seen.
You just got to take all of those, stretches of silence and just edit Bible quotes over them.
Oh, trust me. I'll be getting into it.
Shut up and take my money.
I'm going to go ahead and bounce. This out.
Thank you for joining us, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Y'all have fun.
Have a good night.
Yep. See y'all. Have a good night.
What did you guys think about that trailer?
I'm pretty excited. The comics were originally made to kind of bring in that Bruce Lee feeling, Enter the Dragon. I don't think it's necessarily Enter the Dragon, but I think the MCU specifically wanted something that reflected like the Bruce Lee type movies.
Well, they wanted something that is gonna, be more of that kung fu action style movie. That you used to have these in the 80s and things like that. Like Jackie Chan. Think about almost any Jackie Chan movie, if that's as far as you can go. And those are more. Even a lot of those were like action comedies. He was working with American actors to try and work with our sense of cinema. So I think this is going to be more of that American understanding of like how all that works combined with actual movie cinematic filmmaking techniques on how to film this stuff now, as that has changed since back then. I can already tell just from looking from a lot of this trailer that they're doing a lot of things that you just couldn't do with a traditional.
Right. And it also looks like they're showing like ancient Eastern Asian fights that went on. I mean, we're seeing dragons. We're seeing the, I forget what the name of the dogs that sit in front of the
Temple Guardians, celestial dogs.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but we're seeing those. We're seeing flying dragons, and I don't know. It looks pretty awesome to me, so I'm pretty excited. And we actually get the Mandarin this time, so
we hope.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't even get me started. It's probably just Mephisto.
Oh my God! They both start with M. Confirmed.
No, but I gotta tell you, that was like a ripoff. I felt from Iron Man 3. I actually was hoping Ben Kingsley actually had something to do with the actual and I have no idea if they're gonna involve that with it at all, or if they're purely gonna say this was just a jerk off thing that we did to get comics fans excited. That meant nothing. Kind of like what we did with Ralph Boner.
Well, I think we'll see a lot of Iron Man Easter eggs in this, because in the Iron Man movies we got little bits and pieces. I mean, that's who.
But that was all bullcrap, though. No,
not
that was
all of it.
How?
Not all of it.
But they said, "Oh, that terrorist group was the 10 Rings, and it's run by this guy. And then we captured this guy, and that's who we're going into. And he was a big enemy of Iron Man, and then that was just a fake out for some guy."
If you go to the Iron Man 3 Blu-ray and watch the, they did a Marvel. What do they call those? It was like one shots, or there was
they did a one shot. They used to do one shots with they were like it was like
it was Coulson had 2 or 3 of them, I think.
Yeah,
there was one with the Punisher, and anyway, but they did the one shot with Kingsley where he was in jail and he's like, oh, make the voice. There goes Cam. I think the dog got him.
He's cat.
About that.
We're having technical issues all over the place.
No. That was my dog running across my lap and knocking my phone off of my little setup here.
But anyway, so going back, the little one shot was, Ben Kingsley in the prison, and do the voice, and they're all laughing at him, and he's a pseudo celebrity in prison. And then somebody comes up to him and says, "Hey, you've been using somebody's name." I'm wondering if they're going to tie into that and say, "Hey, you've been using somebody's name," and he's pissed. So now do we get the real Mandarin that harkens back to this Iron Man 3 one shot?
And that one shot to me was like a cop out for them to just say, "Oh yeah, that whole thing that we did here, let me just and for all ensure that this is just."
But was
nonsense.
It a cop out, or is it just a we've been
yes
for a long time?
I mean, the only way it wouldn't be a cop out is if in this Shang-Chi movie, Ben Kingsley's in it and like stuff happens. I don't think they're going to care enough about that, because they're looking at the general audience and their projected earnings about everyone, as opposed to people like me who are like, Iron Man 3 and Ben Kingsley, and they're like, that's 3 people that are having mental breakdowns, and we're going to be financially fine without them. And it looks like a good movie besides that. The only way I could see the Ben Kingsley thing coming into it is Multiverse of Madness in some way, being like, Mandarins, we got Mandarins here. And then they have 3 Spider-Mans pointing at each other, and Doctor Strange going, this is just a Multiverse of Madness. How do I fix this?
Multiverse of Mandarins.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this is the first time I'm gonna do what I got. It's a big Multiverse of Mandarins. It's gonna be 2 Mandarins. If I can make them point at each other.
Just take every single comic book design of the Mandarin and put them on a Doctor Strange poster where every other character is.
That sounds like a lot more work. I'm gonna take the 2 that they've put in the movie so far and have them point at each other, and then I'm gonna be like, Multiverse of Mandarins. Look for it tomorrow on Geek News Now.
Yeah, so some call him the Mando.
Look at David's shirt. Yeah, I noticed it. I care about people's shirts. I can't tell what yours is, but Debbie's got a damn good one. Debbie, can you stand up and show everyone your shirt? It's a really good shirt.
That is really awesome.
That's
Now-
a really
now-
good shirt. Like, what did I say? Oh my gosh, the back's even better.
I gotta say, I had that shirt a long time ago. It, of course, has deteriorated, but I had my mom cut it up into pieces and make it into a quilt for me, so I still have it. It's just on a blanket right now.
This is from the 90s, so there you go.
I believe it. That's where I got mine.
Okay. I don't think we finished talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
No, we didn't.
Debbie, what do you furiously want to talk about?
Um,
Or regularly want to talk about, but you're passionate, not furious.
Well, I'm passionate about Zemo. No, I'm just kidding. I kind of wonder if Madam Hydra or Contessa Valentina, whatever her name is, if this could possibly lead into the series Secret Invasion. Because I think, if I remember correctly, she has something to do with that.
I'd believe it. I
In the
could see it,
comics.
especially given that the last we saw of
Nick
Fury, he was up with the Skrulls, or up in space. It's something that's very much been foreshadowed, but we haven't seen any concrete anything of it.
Right.
And I definitely could see that as being a part of. I saw a meme the other day that was just like, actually today. It was today. It wasn't the other day. It was literally today. And it was Nick Fury recruiting Iron Man, and then below it, it had her recruiting John Walker, and it said the Avengers for Nick Fury, and then for her it said the Thunderbolts. And I was like,
And in the comics, her and Nick had a relationship.
well, that's always more sexy. That's going to be...
So that might be interesting to see on screen, how they play off each other. So
the last time I trusted someone, they ruined my backstory. Fair enough.
I thought it was awesome.
Well, also, I don't, now to get even more off topic, but in Loki, there's the cat, and Loki looks at the cat and is like, and that's obviously the cat that they put the Tesseract into, so it's not really a cat, it's a whatever. Did we see that in the Loki? Anyway, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yes, it's flirking the hell up in there. Oh, wow. Bucky and Falcon. Okay, they're together. Not together. What's in the box?
Kid, we have a conundrum.
I want to know what's in that suitcase. Is it Marcellus Wallace's soul?
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
God!
They ended the what is in there? What do you think's in the box?
It's his new combo Falcon
costume.
Captain America costume. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Falcon costume, but it's going to be the
Captain Falcon. Let's just say it. Everyone skirts around it. I've been saying it by accident since when we were talking about WandaVision. It's Captain Falcon. Show me your moves. I want to see his moves. Show me a Falcon punch. I've been waiting so long for a black Captain Falcon to show me his moves. No, I'm done. I apologize. Debbie, go on.
Yeah, there was I don't know if it was a leak or not, but evidently it was from the Disney store in China or something like that, and it showed the toy, and it was Falcon in his new suit. So I don't know if it's nanotechnology or, well, we know it's Wakandan, so
it's probably vibranium.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty sweet looking,
sexy technology.
Yes.
It's turning into Oprah now. You get vibranium. You get vibranium. You all get vibranium.
And I'm really hoping in this last episode, because it's going to be an all-out fight. And I'm hoping, really, really, really hoping we see White Wolf in full costume.
Well, so do you think, well then in that suitcase, do you think maybe there's 2 costumes or suits?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, Sam takes it home and, Bucky takes off. So why would he leave his suit with Sam?
Because he doesn't.
I'm just saying, no, in the, yeah. And does he even know what's in there? Does Bucky know what's in the briefcase? It's very, that's why this entire episode was very much.
I thought he said, I had the Wakandians make something up for you.
Well, he said, I have one more favor to ask you, and then he drops that off to Sam, and then they do the whole boat montage, which actually is really, if you go back to the beginning, when this episode does more character growth than almost any of the other episodes. A lot of the other episodes set up their characters for us in detail. This one had them literally growing past things or moving past things. If we remember the first episode with Bucky and the therapist, and she says, "Tell me about your nightmare," and she said, "I didn't have any nightmares." In this episode, Sam asks Bucky, "You still having those nightmares?" And he says, "All the time." And that should just be telling you, like, partially.
There's a trust growing there and a bond between the two. They don't want to admit it, but there's something going on there. So,
well, don't forget, they're just a couple of guys with a mutual friend.
Co-workers.
That's what they say. We're just a couple of fellas. You're not going to move your seat up, are you? Yeah, but you have coworkers you hate, and then like coworkers you'd be happy to work by any day of the week. Like they could consider Zemo at this point a coworker. You know what I mean? That's just their buddy guy way of getting around it. Don't hit on my sister. If somebody's hitting on your sister and you haven't killed him, you're friends. That's your friend. You haven't killed him, that's a friend.
No, he just keeps giving him that sideways look.
I have killed every person that's hit on my sister that I'm aware of if I'm not friend with them. So,
what did we think of the training montage?
Great.
I thought it was good.
I kept waiting for like a Rocky theme to come on.
I actually like the shield bouncing and stuff. It made me reevaluate my thoughts on the shield, and that it is a primarily defensive weapon, and that maybe getting hit in the face with it isn't as bad as I imagined it. But then it takes the user to actually use it as a murder weapon when it would, it just takes skill to wield it in a real way.
Just the way they can bounce it off of things. It reminds me of pool. When you're playing pool and you can put, your left English on it and your right English on it. It affects when it hits that ball, when your cue ball hits the other ball, depending on what kind of English you use, it affects how it bounces off another ball. And did I lose you guys?
Well, you keep saying English like it's something you put on something as opposed to a language you speak. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I used to play pool, so that's my theory.
Put a little English on it. That's the same for the layman out there. That's putting a little mustard on it. I gave it a little oomph to the side, a little hoity-toity. I think that's about as close as I can get to accurately describing it. As close as I can get. I'm not saying that's Cam, what were you thinking about that the training montage with the shield?
I enjoyed it a lot. It's something that I really appreciated was the fact that for the majority of that training montage, we saw Sam not being good with the shield. He's learning how to use it, and it wouldn't have had nearly as much impact, just to see him just automatically be good with it. This vibranium frisbee that defies the laws of physics. I can just throw it and it does whatever I want it to. No, I mean there's a lot of skill behind behind using that shield and using it effectively, and for it to show us that he doesn't quite have that skill yet, I really appreciated it. It brought his character down to our level quite a lot more than the show already has, and it's not something I expected, but it's something that I really, really liked to see.
And Sam himself even said it still didn't feel comfortable. It felt weird, and he still has that, still needs to let go of Steve, and but yeah, I thought that was great. It showed that you just can't throw it around like Steve did. I mean, you have to find your way of doing it, and he's going to have to find a way of doing it with the wings and that too. So that ought to be interesting.
And I think that ties into a lot of the things that we saw him doing during that montage. Once he started to get more familiar with it, we see him combining a lot of acrobatic moves and flips and jumps and things like that in with it that I think are going to be coming into effect when he's wearing the wings as well, because that's kind of what I was talking about. Is like he didn't want to take up the shield because he didn't think he could be Steve Rogers. And he's right. Like Zemo said, there is no other Steve Rogers. But it's a different thing to be inspired by a person, to want to live up to that, and to have an ideal to set out to. That's what the shield is. Like, that's what he, to be a hero. What does it mean to be a hero? Does it mean just to be Captain America? Am I going to be Captain America? He's not going to be Captain America. He's going to be something else. He's going to be his own, and maybe they'll end up calling Captain America. I don't know, but he's not going to be Steve Rogers. Just like you couldn't expect John Walker to be Captain America, Steve Rogers. And just like when he was trying to live up to that, he was trying to live up to his idea of what Steve Rogers was. And that's the actual thing, is don't try and live up to a person. Don't try and be this, just be the best that you can be and live up to that every day. And that's why we see also things like Bucky struggling to work with his mind control stuff.
I think we lost you, Chris.
No.
I got him.
I think we lost me.
No.
Anyway,
you were on mind control stuff.
It's just interesting to see like Bucky having to come back from that, and he doesn't want to be like, it's something he has to work past. And it's something that we see the new characters who have taken the new serum not even consider. Bucky's trying to work past, like, obviously he wasn't just given a serum, he also was mind controlled, but he has worked to maintain his identity and who he is above all of that. The new serum takers we see falling very quickly into radicalization. Carly, in this latest episode, we see her working with that French terrorist and getting a bunch of stuff, and the other guy says, the voice of reason on her team, as it were, says something like, we're working with criminals now. Which is kind of laughable in and of itself, but it's worthwhile to say to her. But she even says, didn't you hear? We're already criminals. And that's why people like Zemo so much, because when he says she's been radicalized, it certainly does seem like she is. I'm hoping we'll see Sam giving her another chance at redemption, despite what everyone says, because that's the true nature of being able to redeem someone, is never giving up on that. Maybe it's naive. Well, I was born yesterday. That type of vision, that type of idealism, you're hopelessly naive. It's like, well,
But that's exactly what Steve did with Bucky. He never gave up on Bucky.
Yeah.
No matter what. That's exactly what Steve did. So I could see Sam doing that.
and Luke Skywalker with Darth Vader.
Yes.
I will always throw it back to that. But that's that no one else believed that Darth Vader. And without that someone believing it, maybe it couldn't have ever happened. And that's why the symbolism of Luke, help me take this mask off, is so important. He couldn't do it by himself. He needed someone to believe in him, to help him become who he really was. The best person that he could be. Are you having fun yet?
That and Luke had cut his hand off, so he was missing a hand at that point.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, it took him down. Look, it's not easy.
Great. Falcon loses a hand. Now we
No
know.
one ever said it was easy.
Well, he lost his wings.
I gotta say, Boba, this is one beauty of a ship. Not crazy about the name, though.
It's not easy.
What did you guys think of the Isaiah Bradley scene where he's explaining to Sam exactly what happened to him? I thought it was really great because it basically told the story of his origin story in the comics, which was named Truth, Red, White, and Black. And I thought it followed that story pretty accurately as to what happened. And the parallel between him and Steve, they basically did the same thing. Steve went off to find the POWs in the camp. Isaiah did the exact same thing, but Steve was treated as a hero and he was treated as,
disposable.
A criminal. I mean, he was put in jail for 30 years and tortured and experimented on. So
well,
that
who's to say that they wouldn't do the same thing to Steve had he not been frozen beneath the ice for that long? That also being said, I'm going to take that off the table. It's a huge metaphor relation to the actual and if they talked about it in this episode, the Red Wing pilots, the black people that were experimented on by the United States of America, which, and he says for 500 years they've been erasing our history. Yes. And that's the thing, though. To move forward, it's not enough to, and I hesitate to talk about any of this because I'm very white, but you can't forget what happened. We have to be willing to look at the fact that, yes, all of this shit did happen. That is part of America's history. We can't make America any better by ignoring how we got where we are. And I think that that's part of what they're trying to do in this episode. And I think it's cool. And Balmo, I'm Baltimore, so Baltimore's in this episode. Isaiah Washington lives in Isaiah Bradley lives in Balmo. Balmo. I even thought I recognized that street.
Yeah.
Go on.
During that scene, I liked that Isaiah Bradley talked about erasing history, and then the next scene is Sam and his sister choosing to preserve their history and save it. I found that transition to be kind of profound. To be honest with you, I thought that be able to take that step to save something that was precious to him, whether it was, family related, history related, what have you. I thought that was huge for his character, and I think that it's going to lend very much into how Falcon chooses to take up not necessarily the mantle of Captain America, but rather the responsibilities that come with owning that shield.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. And it's like it's a culmination of these things, and that's part of the reason why the show is so good. Like at the beginning, he wasn't ready for it, he didn't understand it, and maybe he's still not, but it's a different thing to him now. It's not being Captain America, it's being himself, standing up, being whatever he is. Like Steve Rogers didn't set out to be Captain America. He was Captain America. Don't set out to be something, just be what you are and like let that shine through. Don't hide your light under a bushel basket. David, you've been noticing, I felt, the songs and whatnot and the themes. Did you notice anything in particular in this episode as far as the
music wise? I do believe the Soul Stone music was used one more time, and I think it was during the Walker fight at the very beginning, and it may have even been in some of the dialogue. As far as music goes, though, just in regular, I mean, it's all been amazing. Nothing really stuck out to me as far as, oh my gosh, that was from.
I just know that you had pointed out in some of our previous episodes, you were like, during this scene, this was that. So I didn't know if you had any of those
I got nothing.
Standouts this time.
I will say, and we kind of glossed over it back at the Walker fight, and I'm just now remembering this. When Bucky got the shield back, what did he do with it? He gave it back to Sam. Bucky was like...
And there's a beautiful scene of the light shining from the window on Bucky and not on Sam when he and I don't know what that means. I was just like, whoa, watching that. But yeah, exactly. And what does he do with it? He throws it down to Sam. He gives it back.
And as much time too as he spent in the last 4 or 5 episodes now, to where he's like, why did you give it away? You shouldn't have given it away. Oh, I can't believe it. Was almost like he should have given it to me because I wouldn't have given it away. And then he had it and it was in his possession, and he's like, nope, he gave it to you. It's really Lord of the Rings kind of thing going on. You're carrying the ring, you take it.
And that brings me to a tiny little scene where we've all speculated, well, at least I did, I don't know about you all, but when Bucky and Sam are talking, Bucky says, when Steve told me what he was planning, meaning with the shield, they didn't realize, the effect, or I forget his exact words about, giving it to a black man. But that kind of confirms that him and Steve did talk about the shield before Steve left in Endgame to go back in time. They discussed what was going to happen with that shield. We didn't see it in the movie, but it was evidently done off screen. I had already speculated that, but that was confirmation for me that did happen. That conversation between Steve and Bucky happened.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a little sad that we didn't get to see it. I mean, like especially with Endgame and Infinity War, I really wish that we would have gotten more interaction between Steve and Bucky. I mean, even if it was just like one additional scene, to be honest, in that aspect, I felt kind of cheated.
I would throw part of that as they're both already living on borrowed time. And that's why they joke about, like, when they're in Captain America Civil War and they're getting to the the ice box or whatever, and they were touching down. It's like, well, we're just 200-plus-year-old guys. You know, it's like neither of them. The whole man out of time theme fits incredibly with both of them, and that was what they both had in each other to relate to. Like, that's one of the like Cap, he's my friend. It's more than that. Like, yes, Iron Man, you're my friend too. This is my friend Bucky, back from, you know, the original time that I freaking came from. It's one thing to have someone who's gotten to know you. It's another thing to have someone who's known you since forever. And that was what their relationship was, even before they went to war. And for that type of thing, and then to be both of them out of time and have these different burdens upon them, and then to have that one person out of all this crazy new stuff gone. And that's part of that whole thing about Bucky that I really, and to a lesser extent Sam, they were both dealing with that loss, and that's why Sam is possibly better at dealing with it. He himself wasn't a man out of time. He just got to know Steve. He was already good at helping people with post-traumatic stress disorder. And if we're going to talk about survivor's guilt, I mean, my goodness, Bucky's got one of the worst cases of that ever. Not that John Walker doesn't as well, but that's why I also find those two characters to be very interesting to be played against one another. Bucky's survivor's guilt, all the people that he's killed or walked away from alive, based on John Walker, all the people he would kill if he could just keep someone, you know, alive. Wonderful juxtapositions. I can't wait to see what happens in this last episode.
Okay, question about John Walker then. Did John Walker take the serum?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Do you honestly think so? Because part of that serum is the fact that, okay, I'm a super being and I'm able to heal a lot quicker than the normal people. Yet for the majority of the episode, after he busted his arm, he was still in a sling. He was still hurt.
One episode, public perception. It's just one episode. That could be the same day. I mean, for all the timeline that we know. And as far as we'll know for sure, but he bent that pipe with his bare hands. So I shouldn't need to go past that. And then he chased someone down when he had who had the super serum. That person, he did the superhero landing. Again, I don't think you do the superhero landing unless you've got a super serum at not. But,
well, and Contessa said something about, I know you took the serum.
And that was also, yeah. I would say that all of these things, it very much seems like, yes, he did. And that's what caused him to go over the edge. And that's what's weighing on him now, that he talked to Lamar's family and told them that he killed the person responsible for that, which is a lie.
He got justice.
And now he feels the need to get that justice that he told them that he had already gotten. And that's why we see him obsessed with being Captain America. We've seen it this whole time. He's making his own shield now, which looks busted as F. They showed the nice painting at the end, but those welding marks in the first, I was just like, that's trash. That's trash welding, and that's not even how vibranium works. So the first person you throw this at is probably just gonna bust open and be a piece of. But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with it. That's why I'm interested to see what happens next. Like, he's gonna go on a vengeance pact. Who's gonna be there to stop him? Falcon.
I don't think that shield's made out of vibranium, to be honest with you.
Oh no, it's not. No, I'm not saying it. I'm not. No, I would at no point say he just built that out of whatever he had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he expects to. Really,
and the welding on that, it's not even good welding by regular metal normal welding standards. It's bad. It's dirty. It's busted. He's obsessed though.
He needs the shield to be the symbol still. That's part of the symbol.
I
He
think at
needs
this-
to be, and he is a busted, janky Captain America. So the shield fits now the person that's carrying it.
Yeah, I think at this point he's pretty much gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, he's just totally lost it, and I don't know if he purposely lied to Lamar's parents or if that's just his reality now. He is just so out of it that he doesn't realize.
No, he knows what he did, but he feels guilty about it. It's all about that he's trying to be Captain America. You even see it when he leaves their house or wherever they are, their apartment, and he walks down the street and he sees the giant poster of Cap is back and it's him. And he's like, and that hits him again. He's like, I'm supposed to be this. I've got to be this. I am Captain America. And so he's got to be, he doesn't have a shield. He's going to make one. People don't think he is. He's going to make them know that he is. And that person who killed Lamar is still out there. Not for long. That is what is compelling him. His mission now is to get justice for that. Beyond that, who knows? I think it's very interesting. I'll be excited to see how. I think they're going to make him like U.S. agent. And that's why the Hydra lady, Madam Hydra, and everything like that, she's coming in. She's saying, oh, the suit and ties, they've got to keep things for the cameras. They want you to do. And that's what Hydra's always been behind the scenes. Even when Iron Man was out there doing stuff, they had senators that were devoted to Hydra. They had secret plots and stuff going on. So to put him as U.S. agent, hey, you don't have to be Captain America. You don't have to be a poster boy. Okay? That Captain America poster boy, blah, blah, blah shit, that was for fighting Nazis. We have new threats to go against now. Below the radar. You're going to be our U.S. agent. And I think he'll go into that role and fit into that role. And I think that ties into the Thunderbolts.
With Mephisto leading them.
Well, yeah, obviously. Haven't you been paying attention?
I'm so excited. One of my theories might come true. Woohoo!
I've seen a lot of Debbie, your Mephisto theory is spot on too. Just because he didn't show up like a giant devil and go, I'm Mephisto and I'm behind everything, doesn't mean that he's not involved in some way. Just like in Iron Man, Thanos didn't show up and go, look out for me, I'm Thanos and I'm going to be important. It's subtlety. Just an ounce of subtlety. It's important.
We shall see in a year and a half. Ugh.
Anyway, as far as this episode, next episode, any final thoughts you want to leave the people with?
I'm anxious for the next. This again. This has been a more of a. WandaVision was we need to think about what's happening, and this one's more we're going to solve our problems by punching things, and this is the John Woo part of it. But even still, there's a lot of questions that really need to close up on the last episode. Otherwise, I'm just going to be like, oh God, they did it again. Who's the power broker? What's going on with Walker? What's there's tons of questions.
And I want to throw this out there. Expect some of these questions to go unanswered.
Oh,
is this leading to one particular movie?
One particular movie? No. It's leading towards many things. I mean, everything obviously is leading towards their things further down the road. So if you look at what they're doing now and you look at what they're going to be doing, in some way, yes, it connects. But in major ways, you'd look for things like the movies they're going to be doing, like Multiverse of Madness. But even as far as that goes, that's not as integral to this. This is more about the titular characters, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who, by the way, will no longer be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier by the end of the series, which I'm calling. They'll be whatever Falcon's going to be on the White Wolf.
Captain America and the White Wolf.
And WandaVision, are they still? No, she's the Scarlet Witch, and White Vision is out there doing God knows what. That's what I was saying about don't expect all your questions to be answered. The last episode of WandaVision asked several more questions and led no answers to it.
We know that's leading into the Multiverse of Madness, where this one's
boner. Yeah, no, I'm not going to let it go because it's still a thing that's happening. Everyone's willing to let things go. Oh, Zemo killed people back in the day, but he's dancing now. Whatever. You know, when we made this show, we didn't know that people would react so strongly to it being. Are you kidding? Is that a lie? You're a liar, or you should be fired. Anyway, that boner crap either is nonsense or it will be paid off in the. I pray to God they'll pay it off.
I guarantee you it's nonsense. That was a jab at the fans.
If that's just a
Rickroll,
then the same thing as the Ben Kingsley. Oh, are you excited? Oh, for the Mandarin and the 10 Rings? Guess what? Here's Aldrich Killian. We were hinting about the 10 Rings and the, terrorist bands and stuff like that since literally the first Iron Man movie, before there even was an MCU. But we're also gonna clearly have strong opinions on that. We like to have fun. I do, anyway. Any other thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier? I'm gonna get this is your shot. This is your chance. I'm not gonna.
Well, with the character name change or possible character, well, we know Bucky is White Wolf, but with the possibility of Sam's name or call sign being different, and this is supposed to be a one season, right?
I would think all of them would be.
I don't think all of them are. But my thought is maybe it's just one season of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then maybe season 2 would be under a different title.
Well, that's why it wouldn't be season 2. It would just be a different miniseries.
Well, whatever. Because
that's what I'm saying. Well, if you want to wax intellectual on what we're calling it, then I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and then you can't just go, well, whatever, when I say what I say.
It's not a
sequel. It's not season 2. It's just a different miniseries focused upon.
It's a spinoff. That's what it is. It's a spinoff.
Spinoff. There you go.
Debbie, I love you, and I thank you for putting up with my nonsense.
I can take it, Chris. You can throw it at me. I
can't.
Nothing faces me.
Yes, every single thing I say offends them.
Who are you calling them?
So I don't think it would be like season 2. And I don't think it would be even a spin-off. It's not fair to say that because a spin-off is a show that, look, we've had 5 seasons of this show, and then we take 2 characters and spin them off into their own show. In that way, you could say that WandaVision is a spin-off of the Avengers. Like, I'm not going to get into that kind of thing. What they're doing now is creating mini-series, focused stories based upon certain characters. And it's pretty obvious. WandaVision. That's about Wanda and Vision. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Loki. That's about Loki. These miniseries are focused on those things. Yes, they have broader implications in the wider universe, but that's what it's focused on. And we're not going to see season 2 of it because the stories that they were telling, the WandaVision story got told. But you're not going to see season 2 of WandaVision. It doesn't make sense. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, those characters aren't even going to even exist after that. Loki, hell if I know what's going to happen. I'm excited to watch it, but I don't think that we're going to get like Loki season 2. That would be the only one out of any of them I could even perceive as them having a chance at doing something else with. But even just seeing the trailer for Loki, it seems like they're going to be tying up what they can with that into the greater story. So I think anything we see past these types, we're going to see more focused miniseries, but you're not going to see like season 2 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's my guess. I've been proven wrong tons of times.
Well, I'm just hoping, because I could just see so many great storylines and more interaction with Sam and Bucky. One season's just not enough for me.
That's not to say that we'll never get to see them. They're coworkers. They even said it in this. It's just that we're not necessarily going to get this. We're going to get them in different aspects. We're going to see them work with different people, and hopefully see them team up again and get that great camaraderie, buddy cop.
Romance. It's a romance.
Romance.
Can you move your seat up? No. That I love it too. I love their back and forth, the way that they do things. But growth is change. You gotta, if we're making a new Avengers and a new team and new stuff and all this stuff, they've got to grow. And they've got to be more. You've got to take what you went through and learn from it. And that's what they're doing. I'm excited. Anyone else? Anything else on Falcon and the Winter Soldier predictions?
Oh, no, I'm just waiting for the finale. Just waiting to see how it ends.
Cannot wait to next Monday, to talk about this and get in here and just go crazy. And I'm like, what the hell? Aluminum Falcon? What is his new suit made of?
Who's they? What the hell is an aluminum falcon?
He's gonna be flying in and
That works in pretty well with that.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This has been MCU Mondays with Geek News Now. We love being here. We love doing it. We'll see you next time.